Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Make New Marketing Podcast. I'm Mia, and this is Grace. And every single week, we have cozy marketing chats all about how we can make marketing new through connection, through bite sized steps, through making it less about this icky feeling of sales and more about serving people and connecting with people and being able to share your unique magic and your unique creations and just what marketing should be all about. And because in the modern world we're in today, everyone's made it about sales, sales, sales at any cost. We're trying to go against the grain and show from our personal experiences, because it works, that you don't have to be that way to have a
Yeah.
successful business and to market your business really well. And it doesn't have to feel ick and like such a big, just gross thing to do all the time.
Break
So
the mold.
yes. So today we are talking all about imposter syndrome, which I know we all deal with, and just some ways that you can deal with it and you can think a little differently about it, and ways that we are personally dealing with imposter syndrome. Because, yes, every single person deals with it.
Everyone.
Famous people deal with it, super successful people deal with it. Everyone deals with it.
It's kind of a part of it. I feel like you
Yeah.
don't really grow out of it. I've heard from some people that
No.
it's like, it's always kind of there. So we have to make friends with it.
Yes, yes. And so, I think what it really comes from, me and Tom were talking about this the other day, and when we were chatting through it, we had, I don't know, I thought of some really new takes kind of on it, because
Okay.
there's so many ways you can think about it. Like, I know Mel Robbins has this thing where it's like, you're not an imposter, you're a beginner, which is so good. Like, allow yourself to be a beginner. Don't rob yourself of the experience of being a beginner, because
Right.
we all have to start there. Just accept where you're at and allow yourself to be that. And we were talking because I guess in the new Noah Khan
Mhm.
documentary, he talks a lot about imposter syndrome and
Okay.
struggles he's had. And so Tom was talking some about that. And so I was like, how I feel about imposter syndrome. One, I feel like it comes from, like, deep, deep down, what it really comes from is this fear that I'm learning all people just seem to have, which is this fear of no matter how successful or how unsuccessful you are, that where you're at right now is going to go away one day, that you're going to lose everything. And I used to think that maybe this was just me, that it was because that I felt this way because, like, my situation is different. My situation is fragile. Like, I could lose everything. You
Mm,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And so I thought there was so much truth to that in my life and in my situation. But then the more I've dug into this in myself and heard other people talk about it, I've learned it's just something everyone deals with. Like,
Yeah.
literally, no matter who you are, no matter how, like, I guess, bulletproof you may think things are, like, other people may look at your life and go, wow, like nothing could ever take away the success they have. Those people still worry about those things too. Me and Tom were watching a podcast with Sarah J. Mass on it not too long ago. And she was talking about how she fears, like, she went through this horrible period where she was like, I'm afraid everything's going to just go away. Like, all of this dream of mine's just going to
Yeah.
disappear. She's like one of the biggest authors in the world, at least right now. And yeah, like, even she faces those things. Literally everyone does. And so, one, I think it comes from fear. And I think one thing we can right away label is, like, when something comes from fear, we probably need to look a little deeper into it. It's probably not truth. It's probably not got much value to
Yep.
it. Usually when you are operating on something from fear, it is just, yeah, not truthful, not a great idea to do. You need to dive a little bit deeper. And I think as humans, just because of, like, the innate part
Yes.
of being a human is, when I'm fearful, that means I run. That mean, like, when I feel fear, like, that is like a mechanism built into us from whatever, back when whatever we were at one time or had to deal with. Like, if a bear is coming after you and you feel the fear, you run. But I think in our mechanisms in that way are not as good at discerning what real danger is
Ooh.
in the real world. Like,
Uh-huh.
we weren't made for the modern world really that we're in today. And because of that, our natural mechanisms don't always realize, oh, this isn't something to be fearful about.
Uh-huh.
All it knows is my heart's racing. my,
That's good.
it just knows those things. And then it's like, oh, well, we need to get out of here. We need to run, like whatever. Um, and so I think imposter syndrome really at the bare bones of it is just rooted in fear. And anytime something is rooted in fear, so anytime you feel any kind of way, that's something I've started asking myself is, am I feeling this way out of fear? Or like, if I'm not feeling this way out of fear, what is causing me to
What's the
feel this
root?
way?
Yeah.
And I think that's really helpful because then if the answer right off, and you will know most of the time right off the bat. Like if the answer right off is, I'm afraid, then we probably need to look a little deeper. There might not be anything wrong here, might not be anything to be upset about, to be afraid of. And so in that case, then we can work on ways that we can overcome that fear and like bring our mind and our body out of that, right?
Mhm.
But my hot take, I think, on imposter syndrome is we always base so much on imposter syndrome about our capabilities, about, well, I'm not as good at this, and I think how we try to combat that a lot of the time is, oh, but I am good. I am worth it. I am all these things. And so what I was talking to Tom about, and I don't know that Tom agreed with my hot take, and that's okay. He got quiet. I don't know if he was pondering or just didn't agree and didn't want to tell me. Um, but from my personal experience, I was like, I think what's more freeing than anything and lets the pressure off more than anything is the fact that I'm not the best. I'm not maybe good enough to be in the position I am, but like for some reason in the universe, like I've been put in this position. That doesn't downgrade the fact that I've worked hard for it. That doesn't say that it's going to be taken away. That doesn't say that I really can't be here. Because there's people, if you look around the world, the most successful people, like, it's not the people a lot of the time that are the best
Yeah.
singers, the
Good
best
point.
actors, the best, business owners, but it's the people that brought their unique spin, their unique magic, and it really does, as cheesy as it sounds, like, more than anything, just that unwavering, like, delusional, like, not unforgivable, that's not the word I'm looking for, but, like, unapologetic
Yeah.
belief in themselves. And
Yes.
I think with imposter syndrome and with that belief in yourself, I think a lot of the time it has to come from a place of, like, I'm not the best at this.
Humility. Yeah.
Like, I'm not there are people out there who are way better at me than this. But I still can do this. Like,
Uh-huh.
I still can achieve this dream and,
Uh-huh.
and I can get better at this and, which maybe kind of ties into allowing yourself to be a beginner and all that. But I think when you take the pressure off of like the prerequisite to getting to where you're at does not have a lot to do with if you are the best at what you're
That's
doing.
a good point. I see what you're saying.
Like, it doesn't really have a lot to do with that at all. It has a lot more to do with like your work ethic, a lot more to do with your unique magic and ideas that you're bringing, with the people that you're connecting and surrounding yourself with, and with the belief that you have in yourself.
Yeah.
We've talked here before about how perfectionism like suffocates any chance of connection a lot of the time, especially in this day of age. If you try to be perfect all the time, it takes away
Stifles.
any chance that anyone feels like they could connect with you. You're so much better off connecting with people if you allow that imperfection to show. You just allow yourself to show up as a human, right? And so I think when we look at this that way too, if we were the best of the best at it, because here's the thing, no one in the world is the best of the best at it. No one. We're all human. We're all imperfect. So like if we allow ourselves to think this way, we're also, I think, giving ourselves permission to be imperfect, to not be the best at it, and to just show up as a vulnerable human who's learning and who is sharing our experience and the expertise that we do have
Mhm.
at this.
Well, it levels the playing field. It takes out the comparison part of
Yes.
it. Obviously, comparison is the thief of joy. And if you feel like you're on this pedestal or whatever, like, oh my gosh, I have all these opportunities and I don't feel good enough to handle what's in front of me, whatever that looks like for you, it's because you're comparing yourself, like, again, maybe on a subconscious level to other people. And that's where the whole, like, I'm not the best at this thing comes in. And if you take that piece away and you have no one to compare yourself to, then you are just continuing to take things one step at a time and operate in your gifts and everything. I think that that's an interesting take because I think, yeah, the root of that has to be somewhere that you're thinking of somebody else that you think is doing things better than you, and you're like, "Well, I'm not as good as them." And then the irony being that they're also, like, probably suffering with imposter
Yeah, like
syndrome
they're
too.
dealing with the same thing you are and you don't
Yeah.
even realize it.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's a lot of mental gymnastics, for no real
Yeah,
reason.
we're all putting ourselves through torture
Yeah.
and, like, comparing ourselves to each other, and, like, then that person's comparing themselves to you or to another person, and it's just this where if we just took that out, if we took the being good enough part out, and like I said, just looked at it as my success, my dreams, all of that, none of that, there's no prerequisite that requires me to be the best.
Mhm.
And I don't wanna say that in the sense that it takes away a
Right.
drive for excellence.
Yes, the achievement part, right.
Yes, like, there should be a drive for excellence, and I'm not saying that.
But take
There
the
should be a
pressure off.
balance there, but there shouldn't be this, like, comparison to the point or this drive for excellence to the point where you don't feel like you can get started or you deserve to be in a room until you are at a certain level because you are never going to be at the level that you feel like you deserve to be in that room. So I think it's like we have to take us showing the like requirement, the prerequisite of us showing up and doing the thing, that has nothing to do with how good we are. Now, yes, we can improve ourselves, we can get better, we can strive for excellence, all of that. But that is not a requirement to show up and do the thing that you love and you're good at. So, like, you can just throw that away. Your only requirement to show up and do what you love and you're good at is being you. As cheesy
Exactly.
as that sounds, like you are going to be able to speak to people and touch people in a way that no one else can. Whether that's an audience of 100 people, of 10 people, or of thousands and thousands of people, you are going to be able to do that like no one else can.
Well,
And
that's the unique magic part that we're always harping on, like, this is gonna sound so cheesy, but whoever it is in your industry that you're comparing yourself to or you feel like is, like, the peak and, like, "Oh my gosh, that's the standard," the world already has that person. Like,
yes, yeah,
I mean, if you're a singer and you're like and you can sound exactly like Celine Dion or something, it's like, okay, that's I guess impressive, but the world has a Celine Dion. Like, do your own thing.
yeah,
And I think that, you're just gonna have to get comfortable with the fact that, you're just your own person. That's all you can
yeah,
ever be. So be the best version of that you can be. And if you find yourself with amazing opportunities and feeling like oh my gosh, like I feel a bit more like legit than I actually feel on the inside, whatever, like that may be a part of it. But at the end of the day, it's just you. Be the best you that you can be. That
yeah,
sounds so
yeah.
cheesy.
It's like cheesy, but it's true, and I think a lot of the time it's the cheesy, the cringy things that we avoid all the time, and those are the things that are actually what we should be listening to, you know? But I think, and you talking about, like, Celine Dion and all that, and how we have these people we resonate with that we're like, "I wanna be just like them," you know?
Yes.
And again, I think that can be a great driver for excellence when you see someone who's done something excellent and you wanna do something as excellent as they have. But the reason, like going to the root of the reason that you want to be like them is because the world has already established that is what good looks like. But Celine Dion or these other people and why they are where they are today and they're uniquely
Yep.
them is because they took the step before the world said, "Oh, your voice is good. Your music's good." They didn't look around and go, "I want to sound just like this person." Maybe
Exactly.
I'm sure they did at some time, but
They
we
found their own
gravitate
unique
towards that because
niche.
that already has the validation behind it.
Yeah.
So we know if we sound like that, we do things like that, look like that, whatever, the validation's already there.
Yeah.
But where the
Well,
true, like, creativity and bravery comes from is when you can step out and do something different where the validation isn't there yet, and, like, you're the first one. That's
yeah.
kind of where the world's going, "Oh, this is good or this isn't good." And that's
Yeah.
what I think being an artist of any kind is
It
very
is. It
brave.
It is, and, something my dad has taught me about imposter syndrome, he's in the music business here in Nashville. Obviously, Nashville is the number one place in the world for musicians, right, that are, like, cutting stuff in the studio, so he, works with incredible musicians all day, every day. This town is full of amazing piano players like him, but the thing that he's always said is, like, there's enough work for everybody in this town
Yeah.
because everybody does things a little bit differently. He's like, "I admire so and so because he's, like, such a great solo guy," and, like, that's not my gifting, like, I'm not, like, the solo guy, but I do this thing, I have this feel and
Yeah.
I know these chord progressions and stuff that really bring a different flavor, and so, like, I respect that guy for his abilities and he respects me for mine, and, like, there's enough work to go around for everybody, and that's comforting to me in the seasons where I feel like, "Oh, but I can't do exactly what they do," and,
Mhm.
like, that's probably holding me back, and it's like, "No, you're telling yourself that, it's all
Mhm.
your own perception because there is space for you and exactly what you bring, you just have to
Mhm.
own it."
Yes, totally agree. So hopefully that helps you with a unique way to think about imposter syndrome today and to start overcoming your own. The pressure's off.
Yeah,
Like
shake
there's
it off.
really is, there's no, this life can be whatever you want it to be, but you have to go and make it. And it is going to feel so scary. And I do think it takes a lot of bravery. But at the end of the day, I just want, like, it's not that deep. Me and Grace remind ourselves of that all the time. Like it feels so big and so scary and all these things. It is not
I
that
see.
deep, like at all.
Yeah.
And so anyways, hopefully that helps you and just know that we are over here cheering you on and tune in next week because we post a new episode every Friday and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.